Hello everyone, this is Sammy. I am back with another Stitch with Me, this time with the Drive-Thru Dragon. I have worked all week while I was sick on the unicorn for the HAED SAL, and I decided this time to get some stitches in on Drive-Thru Dragon. I did start today with about 149 stitches done already, as you can see right here. And that's because I readjusted my recording setup so that hopefully it's a little bit easier for me. I was recording in kind of a janky way, so this time it's actually a little bit better. It just took a couple of days and some more adapters in order to do it. Now, one thing that you haven't seen on this one, let me move the camera just a little bit so that you can see, is I did get a page finish on the Drive-Thru Dragon here. So I have some down here that I specifically left open as kind of a feathering, along with over here. But this all right here is an entire page. So I did get this page finished. Let me move this back a little bit. There we go. There we go. So now I'm working over here and here to about here-ish, I think, is the next page. I believe it's 90 wide. 80 wide. Yeah, so it's about here is roughly the next page. And you can see that I have kind of stopped doing the marker highlights. I still have some right here, but I kind of stopped doing them since I changed my lighting a little bit, and I can actually see the gray again. Which is good. These will wash out anyways, so if I need to, I can go back and put them back in. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some stitching done here. Now I'm into another section that I was doing parking because this was all up here. When I had done the beginning page up here, I had done backwards, forwards, and parking, and so of course I parked it down here. And now I am doing more cross country and just doing one color until I run out of a thread, and then I go on to the next color. So let me bring you in just a little bit. There we go. That should be good, I think. Give you a couple of columns. If I end up going down over here somewhere, I'll try to adjust as I can. We'll see how it goes. So let's start with this color, which is actually this is 310, this is a black. Now I have been sick all week again, and this time it was a simple cold that sparked off my chronic condition, so it was a heck of a week. But I have been able to stitch, just not for long periods, so I got a little bit done. Let's see, there we go. I'm probably not going to be able to talk much today. I have been having my voice go in and out all week, so I may just decide to make this more of a ASMR type video. Just simply to let my voice continue to have a rest. And this is one of the reasons why I stopped parking, even though I liked the concept of parking. Being able to see the place that I have to put the needle when there's a thread right there, especially when I have multiple threads all parked in a very short range. It started to drive me nuts. I will still park occasionally if I know like I am going to be getting up and going to do something else for a bit. I'll go ahead and park there and then come back and I'll mark it as parked. Otherwise, I tried to finish a thread before I stop stitching. Did I do what I think I did? No, I didn't. Okay. That was actually a pin stitch. So sometimes, yeah, honestly, I pulled part of that pin stitch out. Sometimes when I pin stitch, it doesn't neatly go in, and that's because of the way that this fabric is. The Lugana fabric is only one strand, both directions. Whereas if you look at Ada up close, you'll see that it is like 3 strands across, and then it's like they left 1 strand out or 2 strands out for the holes. That's what gives you your holes. But that also means that when you pin stitch on something like Lugana, because you're literally going between the ply. So let me see if I can pin stitch this here. Well, I don't know, I've seen a couple of people put up tutorials about it, but they almost always put it up using Ada. So let's see if I can zoom in here. And of course I'm gonna have to adjust the so let me go ahead and pin stitch this right here. Okay. So I moved the camera around, trying to make it read the, make it be able to focus, and how, like here, you can still see a bit of that thread because it doesn't drop down like it can in Ada, where it drops down into a nice little piece. On this one, it doesn't. But I was trying to show that, and I couldn't get the camera to actually focus really close in here. So I'm going to move my Q-snap up just a little bit so that we have a little bit more room on the camera of where I'm stitching. And I think I'm a little bit closer in now than I was. To be honest, I don't know where I was because I lost it. I lost count. I was playing around with the camera so much that I have no idea what I started at, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry if it bothers anybody, but I don't really want to mess around with it some more to try to figure out exactly where it was to begin with. This thread is just refusing to go through this needle. There we go. Yeah, this is a really short piece. So I might get these 4 stitches in with this. Let's see, because then I need to leave enough to pin it off. To be honest, I don't know why I even left such a short thread part to begin with. That was kind of past me made some odd decisions that present me is confused about. Okay. So going between the 2 projects, and I'm sure that many of you also have seen this, and maybe you do or do not have a problem, but I see this symbol because most of the patterns so far use the same set of symbols for their patterns. I was going to say projects, but for their patterns. Yeah, but it's not always assigned to the same color, of course. So I saw one of the symbols that's in this project. I believe it's the cent sign. Looks like a C. And I saw it in the unicorn design. And I'm like, oh, that's going to be a bright purple. What the heck is that doing here? Yeah, no, it wasn't even close. Completely different color, because I forgot that it's a completely different color in that project, in that pattern. So going back and forth between the 2, I am probably going to get utterly confused at some point. And I'm sure that's why some of you prefer to stitch monogamously on one piece at a time. I actually have 3 projects going right now. I have this one, the Drive-Thru Dragon by Dragon Muse off Heaven and Earth Designs. I have the Heaven and Earth Designed Sal, and I do not remember the artist for that that one pattern. I'm sorry. I know it starts with a J, but that's about all I remember. And then I have a kit that I had bought this summer on Amazon. And even though I'm like, well, what would it be? How hard would it be to start one more? Because I would love to start the hummingbirds that we got for the HAED SAL as the 2,000 participant milestone. But I'm also like, you have enough projects, and when you go camping this summer, you're going to have to decide which one to take with you. Because, you know, there's no way that I will be able to take both with me, or even 3 for that matter. So, yeah, I'm already looking forward to this summer when we go camping. Don't know when yet, but we'll go camping this summer. This is a little too short. It's trying to pull up, so I'm gonna just try to tuck it in under some stitches back here. Yep, I'm doing it completely by feel. There we go. And I have, ooh. So some of my threads that were tucked away in my grime guard fell out of my grime guard. I was trying to figure out what the heck I was pulling back there. There we go. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. I put on some music for myself because the buzzing in my ears was getting a little annoying. And had a whole section that I thought was being recorded, and it turns out it wasn't being recorded properly. I think it got corrupted. Oh, I have another holding yarn. Hold up, my fabric holding yarns is falling out of the grime guard. There we go. I don't need to sew those. I've done that. I've accidentally sewed them in, and yeah, it's not pretty when that happens. Now I'm trying to figure out where I'm at. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Okay, so I'm over here. That's where I thought I was, but I think I am going to be quiet for a little bit because I can already feel the irritation in my throat coming back. realize you couldn't see where I was about to start. About to make a mistake there. Really? Just the one stitch way over on the other side. All by its lonesome. Yeah, I think I'll stay on this side for a bit. couldn't get my fingers to turn the needle around. No matter what I did. Let's go back up over here. There we go. So 4 over, 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Railroading that stitch made that much of a difference. Two, three, 4, 5. too far over. It's right there. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. No, I'm gonna pull that right off the needle. Let's try it this way. And so what I did is I used another needle to puncture between the threads of that top thread there so that I could put my main needle down eye first. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to push the eye through that. There we go. And I wanted it in that spot because that was the next spot that that symbol, come on, was going to be, so it's better hidden that way. Okay, so I haven't done that many stitches on stream, but today I've done 319, which I think about 200 of that was done off camera. So I think I've only done about 50-60 stitches on the recording today. But I am going to have to take a break, and I'm going to end it here for tonight. And hopefully I'll be back probably midweek, and I'll be doing the unicorn for the HAED SAL, and I can show you what I'm doing on that. Right now I'm in a whole section of white, and I didn't think that that would be very interesting for me to stitch for you guys since it's white on white. So hopefully I'll be out of that into something a little bit more interesting for you to watch. Healing energies to those that need it, positive thoughts to those that need it, and have a great day and happy stitching.